99% of the time, you just respect the person that you're negotiating with. But there's that smaller slice of time where you're just like, you've got to be kidding me, right? And these guys right now are living in a you've got to be kidding me era of college football. Even though I know y'all will say that most of your players are reasonable or recruits. I wonder, don't name names, I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble. But give us an example of a you've got to be kidding me story where either a player asks for something that's outrageous or you see something that symbolizes the dramatically changed nature of college football, even in the last 5 years, because of what they're asking for compared to what their value is. Let's start at the end with Coach Doeren and come back.
Man, you got to get some better questions than that.
The goal is to help people have some fun and laugh a little bit. I mean, you can tell us 9 fun stories, but the you gotta be kidding me stories are what you guys talk about when the cameras aren't on, and that's why these people paid to be here.
Yeah, I'm going to say you got to be kidding me with that question. Yeah, I'll just give you an example. So this was last year. We had a young man, a good kid, and he was earning, some NIL money. And at the end of the year, the biggest problem we face is the agents. The agents call these young men and their families, and they promise them whatever amount of money to leave and go to another school. And sometimes it's hard to get it out of them, And so I knew what he was making. And I said, well, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I got a school that's going to pay me 3 times that. And I just said, well, where is it? And he told me. And I said, you need to take it. Because I'm not paying you that. For us. And he made 3 times the amount of money to go to this other school, and we play him. So we'll see how it turns out. But, it's just crazy, some of the numbers that get thrown around. And you never know, for them or for us, if some of this information is even real. If some of these agents lie to these kids left and right.
See, I told you the behind-the-scenes stuff was interesting. Coach Diaz.
Yeah, the way I'll answer that is, I was head coach for 3 years at Miami, then 2 years went to Penn State as defense coordinator, and then now came back. The 24 months I was not head coach, it's like the job changed in that time frame. When I was head coach at Miami, there would be kids in South Florida who their lifelong dream was to be a Miami Hurricane. They would commit to us. And then a few months later, they'd call us in tears. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, they were offered 25,000 rabbits, right? They say they loved rabbits, and someone offered them 25,000 rabbits. And at Miami, we had no rabbits to offer. We couldn't offer any rabbits as a kid. He loved Miami, but his family, they really needed and loved those rabbits. So some did not have rabbits, and we watched that kid become a first-round draft choice at a school in, let's say the southern part of the country that offered him 25,000 rabbits. Well, when I came back to being head coach, that same kid was now demanding 250,000 rabbits. The amount of rabbits went 10x up. A lot of rabbits, right? And that's why you've been hearing all the news about what's it going to be like. What's been going on, which Dave mentioned, what's been happening the last 4 years has not been sustainable because there's no one in this room whose value suddenly just went up 10x. That's really what happened. So we're hoping for some guidelines. We're hoping that this house settlement, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it will be better. Because ultimately, as Dave said, guess who we were asking for rabbits? The people in this room. You know what I mean? You only feel like giving so many rabbits until you damn run out of rabbits. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
Hey, there's no other event of any kind where you're getting football rabbit answers like that. Coach Belichick.
Yeah, well, since I haven't been in this arena, Dave, like you and Manny have, I really had much comment on that. Rabbits, so that's good.
But Coach, you have a GM,
I
right?
go to the other end of the spectrum. When I was in New England, there was a wrestler that was competing for the Olympics, and he lost to Brock Lesnar, and so he was the only one heavyweight that could go. So he got a call and said, hey, this guy wants to play football. After his wrestling career, was ended, his college wrestling career. And I said, well, Dave played football before? He said, no. Never played football. Didn't play in junior high school, didn't play in high school, didn't play in college. Didn't want to try out. All right. So we bring him in, and he spent the first year on the practice squad, and then he started for start at the bottom and work their way up, and, you know, just through a lot of hard work, dedication, perseverance, and just out competing the guy ahead of them. There's a place for that too, so, I think that's still present in football. And then there's, the other end of the spectrum.
Coach Oliver, I know you say you're in a different tax bracket, but young people, it's not always about money. It could be about playing time, it could be about other variables. What's your, you gotta be kidding me, story?
Well, it's on what these guys do, okay? We about to play Howard University on Friday night. And pregame, and I look up and I see, y'all enjoy this. I see Virginia Tech staff member on our sidelines. I'm like, what's this dude doing on the sidelines? Oh, well, he's here to go see Bulldog because he and Bulldog got a relationship. And first of all, Bulldog's not that nice of a dude anyway. So I already know that's the first one. But Virginia Tech was actually on my sideline recruiting my running back. So thank God they didn't get him. We went to UVA. We got $400,000 there. $400,000. So we started UVA now, and I hope they kick Virginia Tech butt.
I told you you'd get good answers to this question. They might not all like it, but those are good stories. Go ahead, Coach Baker.
Yeah, I think hopefully, like we said, the House settlement brings some stability, logic, because that to me has been what's lacking in the last 3 or 4 years. I'll use a story from previous university. I was at Ole Miss for 3 years, and we had a player on our team, an offensive player, who's actually in my position room, in the tight end room, and the year before he finished with maybe 5 or 6 catches, maybe 80 yards, was a role guy. But he was a developmental guy I felt really good about. And so then the next spring, had an unbelievable spring, just really took a step forward. And then at the end of spring ball, walked in, said, we'll stick with the rabbit analogy, say he's making 30,000 rabbits, now he wants to make 250,000 rabbits. And so, I just remember sitting in that room and Coach Kiffin obviously having an NFL background, like looking at the kid, trying to get him to understand like what you're asking for. You haven't produced 1 second in a real actual football game, but yet you think, practicing well earns you a new contract. And, trying to explain to these guys, like, if you go into an NFL GM's office and ask for this, they'll laugh in your face. And so, like I said, hopefully there's some logic and some stability that comes from it, but those are the conversations that, everybody at this table has been having the last 3 or 4 years.
We've got